Hi, welcome to Interfaces. In this section, we're going to discuss implementing interfaces, properties in interfaces, and resolving overriding conflicts when implementing multiple interfaces with the same named function. Implementing interfaces. In this video, we're going to discuss how to define an interface and how to implement an interface. If we go back to Android Studio, in order to create an interface, we're going to go to our project folder here, and we'll go to new Kotlin file or class. From here, we'll set the kind to an interface, and we're going to name our interface controller. The idea behind the controller here is that we want our Note controller to implement the controller interface so that if we desire to implement any other type of controller for this application, we can do so simply via the controller interface. So as you can see, the syntax for an interface in Kotlin is similar to that in Java, where you have the interface keyword followed by the name of the class. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to define a few functions. So we want to basically have the flexibility to implement these three functions: get all notes, save note, and delete note. Now in order to do this, we want to be able to have a controller for any type of class, not just a note. So for this, we'll use a generic type T. And then we'll define our functions as such. We'll say fun, get all, and we'll take a context for that. And we'll also take, that's it actually. And then from here, we'll return an array list of type T. Okay? And then we'll implement another function called save, which again will take a context, and we'll take an object of type T that we want to save. Finally, we'll make a function called delete, which again will take a context for, and the object T, which we want to delete. Now to implement this, we'll go back to our Note controller, and at the very top in the class definition, we're simply going to put a colon here, and we'll write controller of type Note. Now when we do this, Android Studio tells us you need to implement all the abstract members. So we're going to press Alt and Enter to implement these guys here. Okay. And then from here, we're simply going to copy the functionality out from get all notes, and we'll put it into get all. Okay. So we can remove get all notes now. And then for save note, again, we'll copy it all out and we'll plug it into here. And this is not working here because T needs to be renamed to note. And we also need the onCompleted and onAir listeners. So we'll take those out and we'll add them to the controller. So there we go. We want to remove the no one line as that doesn't mean anything to us right now. Okay, and then we can plug them in here as well. We can remove no one line since we're not inlining this function. And we can delete our old implementations of delete save note. And then for delete note, we can copy the functionality out of it as well and plug it into our new method. And again, we just need to replace T with note, and we can delete the function called delete note. So now we have our note controller, which is a controller of type note, and we implement the three methods that it requires: get all, save, and delete. Now we need to go back to main activity and replace some of the methods that we were using before, because if we don't, we're going to get some errors. So we actually go into note activity, and we're going to replace noteController.delete note with noteController.delete. And same with save note, it's now called save. And that's about it, except for our note adapter, which gets all notes. We're just going to change that to get all. Now let's run this just to ensure that our application looks the same as we expect. Okay, great. You'll notice the list is gone here from the previous section, and that's because I did a fresh installation, so the fake notes are not there anymore. But we can try to create a new note. So we'll say grocery list, which is always the easiest note to make, and we'll say milk and eggs. Save and exit. And we see our note there. We can click back into it, so everything seems to be functioning as we expect.